everyone, it's Amanda. I am doing a first for the channel. I am doing a get ready with me today. I am on my way out, but today I thought I would throw on a little more makeup than I normally would. Felt like being pretty today. So what am I going to talk about today? Okay, well, I'm going to talk about something I was reluctant to talk about, but it's come up on a few live chats, so I thought I would discuss it, and that is what I do. And basically, as most of you know already, but some of you may not, I live in Toronto, and Toronto has the nickname of Hollywood North. And the reason it's called Hollywood North is because it's got the largest film industry outside of LA in North America. And many years ago, maybe around 2009, I was going through a divorce. I had just actually been in Canada not very long. And as most of you know, I'm from the States. I wasn't in Canada very long. I was going through a divorce. I didn't know anyone. I didn't have any connections in the States. I was a professional violinist. I had retired when I came to Canada, but I also did some other jobs like, to make ends meet, because the arts don't pay. To make ends meet, I would do things like accounting, bookkeeping, payroll, that kind of thing. And so I was in a new country, basically. I had no connections, knew nobody, no friends, no family, nothing. So I had to figure out what I was gonna do. And so I decided to go back to school. And I enrolled in school, but while I was at school, I had made a friend that was doing background acting in the film industry. And he told me I should really get into it. And I was like, oh, well, I have no experience acting. I never acted in school. I was a music geek. I played violin and upright bass. And I played also, I could read piano and play cello as well, but my two primary instruments were violin and upright bass. And I was like, I have no acting experience. And he's like, you don't need acting experience, you just need an agent. So he put me in touch with his agent. And immediately I started getting booked on jobs. Background acting around Toronto and the area, on TV shows, movies, made for TV movies, motion pictures, that kind of thing. And while I was going to school, because background acting is very part-time. I mean, you have to be seriously dedicated and have a look to really be able to turn background acting into a full-time job. And although I had friends that did do it full-time, they were also models. So they had the look that would get them regular work, on anything, So I was still in school and doing this part-time. So I continued doing background acting for many, many years. Even after school finished, and I continued doing it. And I even got my daughter into it. My daughter was doing it as well as my dog. My dog had appeared on a couple different TV shows, usually with her, but yeah, so my dog was in it. My car even my car got booked on a couple TV shows. So I got more and more into it. Then I had I had medical issues that were rearing their ugly head. And I had to cut back on the acting quite a bit, because it's people don't realize, they think, oh, that's easy, that's not a job, it's so easy. No. You try standing on a mark for 17 hours a day and see how you feel. It is not easy. It's physically exhausting. And so I took a break, and I focused during that time period. I focused mostly on myself. Started a weight. Whoop, I just sprayed all over myself. That's just lovely. Anyway, I started focusing on a weight loss journey of my own, and I lost quite a bit of weight. Actually, I lost 102 pounds. So yeah, so that's what happened in that time period. And then about a year and a half ago, or no, about a year ago, a little more than a year ago, I had the opportunity to break into production work. So rather than being in front of the camera, I would be behind the camera. And I took the opportunity and I went with it. However, the thing is with, I went with it. I became a PA, which is a production assistant / driver, because I would also drive equipment around, or talent, or whatever, pick people up at the subway or a hotel or whatever, drive equipment to like the special effects shop, or props location, all kinds of stuff. So I was doing that as well as the stuff on set, like physical stuff on set. The problem with it, and I love it, I absolutely love doing production as opposed to acting. The problem with it though is unless you're unionized, or you have like major connections, or you've built up a name, you don't really get a lot of work. So I still supplement it with background acting, but I really prefer the production. But like I said, I don't have the connections, and I'm not unionized, and the unionization process is very long. To even get the apprenticeship to do it is very difficult, because you're competing. It's highly competitive for only a few spots, right? But then at the end of the apprenticeship, you're unionized, and that's when you start making the good money, and that's when you start seeing more work, basically more regular work. And work on the really good projects like motion pictures and stuff like that. And then from that, you start getting more work because your name's getting out there, right? So anyway, yesterday I was online looking through this place where I find, jobs and stuff, and I reply to when they need production workers and that kind of thing. And they needed someone for, it's a production company, needs so I've seen the position sometimes referred to as an office PA, so production assistant, but in the office, but they actually called it just an assistant. But it's steady, it's full-time, it's in the office, and it said experience preferred, and I've never done office PA, so I don't have that kind of experience, but I know the ins and outs of the industry. I've worked in front of the camera and behind the camera. I'm very familiar. I work well with talent. I don't get all weird and fangirly. I'm very professional. So I replied to the person. I sent them a message, and I said, this is basically what I've done. This is my background. And she told me to go ahead and apply, send in my CV and a cover letter, and apply anyway, because she said that the experience wasn't necessary. It's preferred, but it wasn't necessary. So I'm really thinking about doing it. It's not the best pay, but it is full-time and it's steady. And I don't have to go looking for jobs all the time anymore. And because it's an office, it would be physically easier for me to do, because I still do have my medical issues. They're just not so bad that I'm learning how to manage them more, and so I'm at a good place now where I can apply for something full time if it's in this kind of work and in this type of office. I don't do well in corporate offices. When I was in the States, like I said, I did accounting and bookkeeping and payroll and stuff like that. I didn't do well in those type of offices, especially in the accounting area, because the deadlines are just awful. And the pressure, and you're usually the first ones to, whenever there's any kind of financial cuts in a company, they usually hit the accounting departments the first to get pink slipped and all of that stuff. So I hate working for a corporate because it's very cutthroat. But this sounds like it's very interesting. It sounds fun. It sounds like something I want to be doing because I absolutely love working in the film industry. I just want some more stability. So yeah, so I'm gonna go for it. I'm going to absolutely go for it. Anyway, so yeah, that's kind of what's going on the career front for Amanda. And now you all know, what the hell does that girl do? Now you know. What else should we talk about? Well, we could talk about dating. It's kind of cliche though. Everybody talks about dating. I'm kind of a private person despite having a YouTube channel. I'm kind of a private person. It took me a while, like even talking about work, it took me a while to decide I was going to do that because I don't like putting my private stuff out there, but I did it in a way that, you know, I'm not going to dox myself. And after I got divorced, I didn't really want to date for a very long time. I did date, but not seriously. I just wasn't feeling it. And so my dating was more casual. Interpret that however you will. But lately I've been feeling pretty lonely. Since I became an empty nester, I've been branching out and trying to build friendships, make friends, like, you know, what this channel's all about, trying things that I'm uncomfortable with and trying to break out of the boringness that was my life. And part of that is dating. Like I said, I have been feeling very lonely lately. And I want to do something about that. I set up a Tinder account, and I did what's it called, Bumble or something like that. I set up both of those, but I didn't use them because I sort of browsed through them and I could, excuse me, hiccup. I could see that, you know, most of the people up on there weren't really serious people. They probably date someone, go out with them a couple times, get what they want or need or whatever, and then move on to the next conquest. And that's pretty much what those apps are all about, because it makes it accessible, you know, to be a slut. I'm not saying everybody is that uses those, and I'm sure there are people that have been very successful using those. But it's very evident when you go on there, the vast majority of people are not very serious-minded. I've had a few people over the past couple of years that have been interested in me and have asked to date me, like people I know from real life. But after my marriage, and like I said, I was sort of jaded after my marriage, I am not going to settle. I feel like with my marriage, I did settle. And, you know, I was blinded. I thought I was in love, but I really was not. And I was sort of settling at the same time. So it was a combination. I think it was for him too. I don't think he really loved me either. So yeah, so I'm not gonna settle. I'm not gonna just go out with anyone. I mean, I take that back. I will go out on a date with someone, because you never know. You might not think you click, but then you get out alone and you're off doing something, you're focused on each other, you might end up clicking, you might discover something that you didn't know that attracts you, right? So I will go on a date if someone asks me, but there's not going to be a second date unless like I feel some sort of a spark or something, right? So I've had a few suitors over the past year or so since I've opened myself up to the idea of dating again. However, there is one person that has struck my fancy, and I really like him. And I told him that I liked him. We are friends. I told him that I was interested in him, that I liked him. I thought we clicked. Every time we're around each other, we flirt like crazy. And so I went ahead and bit the bullet, and I told him how I felt, that I was interested, and that I thought that he might be interested too based on our conversations. And he said yes, he's interested too. However, he is also jaded as well, and he is not ready to date yet. So he does not want to date. He just wants to keep things as they are, just hanging out as friends. So that's where that's at. So I'm kind of in dating limbo. I want to date, that's my desire. I want to meet somebody. I don't want to be lonely anymore. But the only person I'm interested in is not there yet. So hence the limbo. I have to wait. I have no choice but to wait. And unless somebody incredible comes along, that's kind of where I'm at with that, you know? That's a lot of mushroom. I see I get distracted talking to you, and then next thing I know, I got mushroom eyes. Anyway, I'll do just a little bit more, and then I'll deepen in those outer corners. But yeah, so that's where I'm at with the whole dating thing and the idea of dating, and I don't know what to do. Well, I mean, I know what to do. I know what I have to do. I have no choice but to do what I'm doing, which is nothing. So, but that's where we are with that. But, you know, in junior high, or some places call it middle school, when you had your crush, your first like actual crush, it's kind of, and you have those butterflies, especially when you're around the person. You have the butterflies and you feel stupid, and that's kind of where I'm at. I feel those butterflies. I feel that stupidity and awkwardness. Don't worry, I'm gonna clean all of that up. Because as you know, I cannot wear false lashes because I can't freaking figure out how to put them on. So I can't wing it out and cover my mistakes with false lashes like a lot of beauty gurus. So I will have to dip into the concealer and cover some of that up. Looks good. I think that looks pretty good. Well, maybe a little bit more. I need more eyeshadows. Just so that I have more, not just to have more colors, but just so I have more shades, on like depth of shade. selection. Yeah, that's a little better. You know, for expensive shadows, these aren't performing all that great. You know, for you know, luxury shadow, they are a little bit patchy, especially these the Guerlain. I love Guerlain lipstick. In fact, that's what I'm going to be wearing today is Guerlain lipstick, but the shadows are very, very patchy. The Dior shadow, the mushroom that I put on, it went on pretty good. I assume. I mean, like I said, my lighting's crap, so I can't really tell, but I think I'm just gonna call that. Back off of the shadow, Amanda. So let's clean that up. I had someone ask me about my brows once on, I don't know if it was in the comment section of a video or if I was in a live chat, or I can't remember, but they had asked about my brows. It's like, well, they're kind of a combination of things. I've been doing my brows with a pencil since I was about 14. Before they were really popular, I was doing this. I'm also a victim of the 90s. So I have very, 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 very sparse eyebrows. And so I have no choice but to pencil them in, or I look like I have alopecia. And so, see, it looks so much better. So yeah, I've been penciling in my eyebrows for a long time, but in the 90s I overplucked them. Like, that's what I mean by I was a victim of the 90s, because in the 90s overplucking was very, very in, and the thin eyebrows were in. Well, the thing is after years of plucking hairs, they tend to not grow back. So I have very sparse eyebrows that I have no choice but to color in now. And I got microblading done over a year ago. It was March of last year, not March of this year, but March of last year. I got microblading done. And it was a long process to heal it so it looked decent. But even like after about 3 months, I found that I was having to go back to using a pencil again. They were starting to fade. And it was explained to me that, you know, microblading your brows can last up to about 18 months, between a year and 18 months. Some people even up to 2 years, but it just really depends on your skin type. And although I don't have extremely oily skin, my skin just didn't hold the pigment very well. It started fading within about 3 months, so I had to start using the pencil again. And now it's almost faded completely. Like, it's barely, you really can't see it unless you're up close. So I'm back to using the pencil, and I would like to get them microbladed again. Sorry if you can't hear me. I'm using my face as a brace for my hand. I would like to get them microbladed again, but they're $500. And as you all know, I have a very big vet bill I'm paying off right now. So microblading is just not a priority for me right now. I have many, many other priorities that I need to tend to. You know, like a responsible grown-up. And although I do, like, as you know, I do go and model for a lot of students or apprentices for different procedures and whatnot to save money. Microblading is just not something I'm going to do that with. I would rather go to someone who's really good at their craft and pay full price than go to an apprentice, because that's like it's a tattoo basically. It's a tattoo on your face. So I need to make sure, I need to make damn sure whoever I go to knows what they're doing. So that is what up with that. But of course, if and when I do decide to do it again, I will most definitely be filming it. I'm going to film the entire process. I'm probably going to do it in steps, like the actual appointment day, and then I'll do the follow-up appointment and discuss it, and then I'll do like a follow-up, like a 6 month later kind of follow-up thing, just to see how they're doing. So I'll share that with you when the time comes. I will definitely be filming that. But for right now, I have other priorities I need to focus on. I also had a request from a viewer who asked me to start doing more things around Toronto and sharing that on my channel, which is my absolute full intention. I will be doing that. But the thing with Toronto is I can do a lot of walking around and showing you things around town. But Toronto's a very expensive city for tourists and to do tourist type things. It's a very expensive city. It's on the level of San Francisco with how expensive tourist things are. So I can't like regularly share that kind of stuff with people because it's quite costly. I mean, even a museum's like $25. So I have to spread out that kind of activity. I do have a video coming up that I'll be filming over Labor Day where I do an activity and share it with you all. I'm not going to disclose what it is yet. It'll be a surprise, but I will be doing that over Labor Day weekend, and I will be sharing that. So that'll be a Toronto-centric type of thing that I share. But like I said, I have to spread those out because it does get quite costly, and I haven't decided yet. I haven't decided. I have a Patreon. When I started this channel over a year ago, I also started a Patreon. I've never used it. I've never even told anybody what it is, because I'm sort of a proud person. I don't like handouts, and I don't like asking for things. If things are offered to me, then I'm gracious about it, but I don't ask for things. And that's just kind of something about me, and people that are close to me know that about me, that I am kind of, embarrassed or proud or whatever you want to call it. So I have considered using the Patreon to possibly pay for content if people want me to go do Toronto-centric type things, like go up the CN Tower or, visit Niagara Falls, or because Niagara Falls is very close. Things like this, a Patreon would help with that, because then that kind of offset the cost of that on me, because like I said, I don't make a lot of money. So, and especially going up the CN Tower, I'm deathly afraid of heights, and I'm also deathly afraid of elevators. And to get to the top of the CN Tower, you have to go into a glass elevator on the outside of the tower. And it's like, well, at one time it was the tallest building in the world. So as you can imagine, it's a very, 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 very tall building. And so if I'm going to do that, you bet your ass somebody's going to pay me to do that. I'm not doing that on my own. I have to have some sort of a motivation to do it. So yeah, so things I'm considering sharing the Patreon just so that people can help me with those type of activities. If they want to help promote, sponsor my channel that way, that would be amazing. And that way I can get more content out and share more things with people. My brows actually look really good today. Dang, they look really good. good brow day is a very, you know, some women, it's all about the hair, good hair day. Not for me. For me, it's all about the brows. The brows can make or break a day. So as you know, I use, oh, that, by the way, my brow pencil is Dior, oh, what's it? That's freaking French again. Anyway, it's basically a powder pencil. It's a powder pencil from Dior. And anyway, and then as I mentioned before, I have my Tom Ford liner that I use, which is almost out, and I'm so sad because it's so expensive. But anyway, here we go. I'm gonna do my liner. So anyway, so yeah, that's what's going on, my thoughts and opinions about the Patreon thing. I'd appreciate it if you did comment down below and let me know what you think. Do you think that's a good idea? Should I do that? Like I said, I'm very self-conscious about asking for things. It would help the channel along to do it that way. I would be able to actually put out content that's more interesting more frequently. Not that I'm not interesting. I mean, I'm pretty awesome, right? You're still here. But it would help the channel along. So let me know. Should I do it? Should I not do it? Should I wait? Maybe do it later after my channel grows a bit? Or yeah, just let me know. Comment down below. I appreciate it. I love feedback. And all of my regular commenters, people who comment on my videos so far, they're all very helpful and very supportive people. So yeah, so it's really nice to have supporting people watching my videos. It actually turned out pretty nice, didn't it? Very pretty. Good job, Amanda. So now all I have left are my lips. I don't use lip liners because number one, my lips aren't very feathery, and number two, I usually wear matte lipsticks, so they don't bleed. So I'm just going in. I have my Guerlain. I showed this in my what's in my bag video. It's my Guerlain. Well, I don't have what it is listed on here, but anyway, it comes with this case that's, see, it comes like this, and then you pull your lipstick out and that pops up and it's a mirror. So, and it's a very pretty shade. So I'm just gonna pop that on. There we go. Actually, that lip shade's a little too, maybe a little too brick red for the eye look. Oh well, I'm just going with it, I don't care. Okay, so last but not least, I've got some Urban Decay Slick setting spray. I'm just gonna pop this on real quick and set it and forget it. So there we go. As you can see, it's still a very, oh my hair. Still a very simple makeup look. It's more makeup, it's definitely more makeup than I normally wear, but it's still simple. I'm not really a bold makeup person, so I'm gonna have to maybe use some hairspray here. See, my hair still looks pretty good from my last haircut. Well, I mean this, I'm having a weird, I think I'm gonna have to take the flat iron to this right here because I wore my hair in a ponytail for a couple days straight, and it now has this like permanent bump right here, so I need to take my flat iron out and just kind of run it over that. But other than that, look, the smoothing treatment's still lasting pretty good. This is just from blow drying, so still lasting pretty good. Well guys, thanks for joining me for this. like I said, I apologize if you couldn't hear, but hopefully you had the foresight to turn the volume up and stay with me and enjoyed our conversation. Again, if you have any questions, just leave them down below. And again, I am interested in feedback, particularly on the Patreon idea. So do please leave your thoughts about that and your opinions. And if you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe and ring the bell. And we will talk to you next time. Bye.